How's it going, Ram fans? And thanks for tuning in to another week of the Monday Night Sports Show. I'm Ethan Bird.
And I'm Rachel Hallam. CSU softball finally hosted at home with the Colorado State Classic this weekend, as Kennesaw State, Purdue, and Idaho State came to Fort Collins.
And after a slow 1-3 start to the weekend, it all came to a close game against Purdue on Sunday afternoon. We're going to open this one up, bottom of the first. Ashley Ruiz up to the plate with Ashley Michelena in scoring position at second. Michelena had herself a weekend. She had a team leading 8 for 18 in at-bats. And Ruiz is going to sneak this one through the right side. And Michelena with some blazing speed around third base is going to make it home, putting the Rams up 1-0 early.
Now up to bat for Purdue is Casey Wilhoit, who hits a 2 RBI double right here off of Taylor Gilmore's pitch, getting 2 of her teammates to round home and take the lead from the Rams at 2-1.
But this inning isn't quite over yet. We found ourselves in a pickle with none other than Wilhoit. She figures, I got my friends to score, why can't I? And she does off of the throwing error from Donaldson.
CSU will not back off as Brooke Pullins is going to score on an RBI single from Ashley Michelena. A close play at home brings the game to a tie at 3 apiece.
We'll move on to the bottom of the 6th. Karina Gamboa up to bat, slam it all the way out to left field, put your team up 4-3. And in softball is always a walk-off celebration at home plate. Go celebrate with your team because that's all they needed. Rams will take it 4-3.
Now after the game, CSU senior Ashley Ruiz talked about the competition they faced. She says, "We have faced a lot of pitchers, fielders, and hitters that we don't normally face in conference. I think it's definitely prepared us for what we'll see and how to adapt."
And even if Ram fans didn't want to believe that it did, the Mountain West tournament did continue after CSU's first-round exit. The championship all came down to nationally ranked number 5 San Diego State and Utah State. We're going to open up here in the opening seconds of the game. Justin Bean trying to post up, but he finds Sam Merrill. Who else would you want to find? Count it from 3. Utah State up 3-0.
Utah State with the inbound, looking for Merrill again, can't find him, finds Brito instead, who drains a 3 at the buzzer going into the end of the first half.
Moving on to crunch time. Aztecs down 1. Malachi Flynn, who else? Pull up, jumper, count it. Aztecs up 1.
Tied at 56 apiece with under 8 seconds to go, and who other than Sam Merrill hits a deep 3 with just 2.5 seconds left in the game, winning this entire arena over with that game-winning shot.
Absolutely. I mean, that guy's just ice in his veins all the time. Sam Merrill, just such a great player, and it's very exciting to be able to see him clinch his team's spot into the tournament and watch him play a little bit more.
Absolutely. Back-to-back championships. Can't feel any better than that.
Absolutely not. And on to the tennis court. For the first time in CSU tennis history, the Rams have a nationally ranked doubles team. The team of Stella Cliff and Emily Lutschweiger is ranked 79th in the country and improved to 14-4 on the season after winning 2 matches in the Rams' 4-3 victory over UC Riverside and the 3-4 loss to Pomona Pitzer in their California road trip. The Rams are 3-6 on the season and will play their first home match against Northern Colorado on Saturday.
Now, due to the spread of the coronavirus, as of this afternoon, professional sports leagues, including the MLB, MLS, NBA, and NHL, have issued a statement temporarily limiting locker room access to players and essential staff, effective immediately. NBA star LeBron James made it clear the effect this will have.
We play games without the fans?
Yeah.
No, it's impossible. I ain't playing. I ain't got the fans in the crowd. That's what I play for. I play for my teammates. I play for the fans. That's what it's all about. So if I show up to an arena and ain't no fans in there, I ain't playing. So they can do what they want to do.
And I understand LeBron's sentiment there. I mean, I can't imagine ever playing professionally and not having it being dead silent. But I mean, teams in Italy and in other parts of the world have been doing this for a while, and it almost seems inevitable at this point.
Yeah, it kind of does seem inevitable, but for me, I have to look at it from the perspective of the fan.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're paying all this money to go see these professional games,
Yeah.
and the excitement that being in an arena alone brings you. So it's just, I think it's a little rough, and fans are going to have a hard time with it, and I kind of agree with LeBron in this situation.
Well, hopefully they get a discount.
Hopefully they can get a refund.
That would be my main
We'll
concern.
see. Well, Rams, don't go anywhere just yet, because later in the show, we will be letting you know more about one of Adazio's new recruits and about an NHL broadcast and how they're changing the game.
But next is Hunter's Hotspot. Hunter, what's coming up this week?
Well, since we just sprung forward, that means it's ball season. I'll let you know which game is coming up this week and who you need to look out for next.
Dad?
Just 1 minute, okay?
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Well, the sun is finally out, which means it is warming up, and so are the bats. CSU women's softball is in full swing. After hosting their first tournament this weekend, the Mountain West matchup against San Diego State. With this being said, this is your hotspot game of the week. San Diego State is currently 17-11. However, they lost their past two games. In their game against Long Beach State, they lost 8-0 in a game that was only 5 innings. San Diego State is averaging 4 runs per game, whereas their opponents are averaging 3.5. In comparison, the Rams are only averaging about 3.3 runs per game. This being said, the teams are closely matched up when it comes to scoring. Live at CSU softball field is reporter Terah Barrio. Terah, what else does the Rams need to prepare for?
Well, the Rams will have a warm weekend in sunny California, but one thing these two teams do have in common are their coaches. Head coach Jen Fisher for the Rams has been with CSU for 10 years now. SDSU's head coach Catherine Van Wyk has led the Aztecs for 24 seasons. So both these coaches have had their hands in the Mountain West for quite a while. Now looking at the Aztecs roster, senior shortstop Shelby Thompson is a player the Rams are going to need to look out for. Thompson alone already has 4 home runs, 15 RBIs, and 22 hits. And not only is Thompson an experienced player, but she's a player who can put the ball in play.
Terah, I really like what you said about Thompson. How do you think the Rams can shut her down?
Yeah, so in order to shut down a player like Shelby Thompson, the pitchers are really going to have to be on top of it. And that means hitting their spots and calling a smart game. Just last year, Thompson did hit .336. And when you face hitters like Thompson and you put a ball in her zone, she's going to figure out how to put the ball in play. However, I will say this, last year when CSU did play SDSU in Game 2, Thompson did face CSU senior Jessica Jarocki and only went 1 for 4. So as long as the pitching is on top of it, I do believe they can shut Thompson down. Also, the defense is going to need to be tight, and that means not making silly errors that's going to cost extra bases or extra runs. And alone, just to shut down SDSU in general, they are going to need to wake their bats up. That's something we didn't see this weekend, and that's definitely going to play a factor in this weekend alone. So as long as defense is tight and pitching's on top of it, I truly do believe they can shut down SDSU in total.
Well, thank you, Terah. Well, taking a look at the Rams season so far, they are 11-12 on the season. The Rams have only had 1 game away so far. The rest have been at home or at a neutral site. The Rams will be in California playing the Aztecs 3 times this weekend. In their last game, they put up 4 runs, 3 of which came in the 5th and 6th innings after they trailed almost all game. The key to CSU winning games has been the ability to score runs late in the game. In their past 2 wins, they have put up a total of 3 runs in the 6th inning and have not had to bat in the 7th. And what better way to score than with a home run? The home run leader herself, Ashley Ruiz, led the team with 4 home runs on the season so far. And that is what makes her the Hotspot Player of the Week. Along with her home runs, she has a slugging percentage just above 50% and also leads the team with 18 RBIs. It is going to be important for Ruiz to keep the bats hot so that her team can win against San Diego State. The action takes place on Friday at 7 in the evening, but Rachel and Ethan, an NBC broadcast, made headlines this weekend. What happened?
That's right, Hunter. For the first time ever, there was an all-female run NHL broadcast that happened on Sunday. I'll let you know more about it after the break.
Plus, football coach Steve Adazio continues to keep up with his impressive recruiting. Find out about his latest recruit coming up next.
Yesterday marked the annual International Women's Day, dating back over 100 years. And sports broadcasts and teams were not blind to the incredible work women have shown today. To start off, the NHL had an entire game produced and broadcasted by all women. During the matchup between the St. Louis Blues and the Chicago Blackhawks, NBC had an entire female crew in control of the whole thing. The idea behind the program was to highlight the women who have made an impact on hockey and sports in general. Emmy-winning reporter Laura Oakman works hard herself to empower women every day and loved the idea behind the broadcast.
I will be watching this game with a huge smile on my face, rooting this crew on the entire time. We still have a glass ceiling. We are constantly bumping our heads against it. But what this game and this crew does is give us one more beautiful, glorious crack.
Now, these women being a part of the first of its kind broadcast were not the only ones representing women during the International Day. NBA teams such as the New York Knicks showed up to their game on Sunday representing the Women's National Basketball Association. Not only did players represent the organization as a whole, but the team held a women's empowerment night in order to showcase the impact these women have had on the game itself and the impact the women have all across the world in everyday lives.
Well, what a special, inspirational night that was. I mean, I know I watched it, but hopefully someday it's no longer a special night, you know?
Absolutely. They're working hard to make it so that the future generations are coming in with the idea that they can have this much success too. So it's really great to see this.
Absolutely. Now, Steve Adazio continues to make splashes in his recruiting circuit. University of Miami grad transfer defensive end Scott Patchman will be bringing his Power 5 experiences to the Rams defensive line. The 6'6", 255-pound Bradenton, Florida native tallied 63 tackles and 3.5 sacks in his 3 years of service as a Hurricane. And Patchman is a quick and physical edge rusher who has the potential to make an immediate impact come September.
Well, it will be a little while until Adazio's recruits are put to a true test, but with spring football here, it will be interesting to see what they can bring to the field.
And while we wait to see the football action, Ellison Hubbard is back with some highlights of his own. Ellison?
Well, if we're here this week, it seems like I have everything but football, and I have one play that might just leave you speechless. So don't go anywhere just yet. Hubbard's Huddle is coming up next.
It takes less than 1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes. You can do it here. But you probably won't. You're busy. Kids, work, show coming back in 48 seconds. So let's do this now. Hold up one finger if you're a man, women, 0. 3 more fingers if you're over 60, 2 over 50, 1 over 40. If you're not sure, keep in mind you're sitting on a couch right now, so one more finger if you're not very active. One finger if yes, 0 if no. 1 yes, 0 no. Next, find the body type that looks most like you and hold up that many fingers while I look around awkwardly. And that's it. If you're holding up 5 fingers or more, you probably have prediabetes. Sorry to be so blunt, but hey, you're busy. Just go to the site.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back from the break into another week of Hubbard's Huddle. I'm Ellison Hubbard, and tonight I have the top 5 plays you have been waiting for, and not one play that will make you say, wow. With that being said, let's break the huddle, starting with number 5. We have the NBA Mavs versus Grizzlies. Luka Doncic just putting moves on people, making them look crazy, making the layup. Luka Doncic wearing number 77 as a shooting guard and making moves like that. That is amazing. Right here, just pulling up threes. Luka Doncic is amazing out there. I'm surprised he's not in the MVP race. He does have 27 points in that game. He went 7 for 20. Doesn't seem so good, but he is an outstanding shooting guard for the Mavericks. Going into number 4, we have the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. That's a lot to say right there. But look at the girls right there, the Cougars versus the Green Devils on the floor fighting for the ball, giving all her might, shooting the ball up, making a layup. We have seen things like that before, but in high school, that is impressive. Though the Cougars have lost that game 46-32 in the 2A state semifinals. That is upsetting, but the Green Devils did go on to win that finals championship there. Going on to number 3, we have the Lakers versus Milwaukee. MVP battles right here. LeBron just showing his dominance over Brook Lopez. Get out the way. Number 11 just had no chance over LeBron. LeBron showed his dominance there, and he was the MVP in my mind for that night, and he might win the MVP race. We don't know. It's up to the people. Lakers win 113-103. LeBron, the king, had 37 points in that game. Going on to number 2, we have baseball. I finally bring baseball here. Spring baseball. Mike Trout hitting the ball at the park. It's not even the season. He's just showing them what he's going to show in the season. Kids running for the ball, fighting for the ball. Mike Trout just is an amazing baseball player for the Los Angeles Angels. He tied the game. They ended up tying the game with the Royals, so it wasn't, big win or loss there. It was just a regular spring baseball game for Mike Trout. Number 1, here we have Utah State, San Diego State. We're going to keep beating the drum here. Sam Merrill just on fire every game. You just got to put maybe 3 men on him to keep him from scoring, but he's trying to make a move here. He's trying to get that shot in. I mean, look at that swish 3. I mean, it was effortless for him to make that right there. That's amazing for Sam Merrill as they go on to win that game. Back-to-back champions for Utah State against San Diego State. That is a heartbreaker for the Aztecs as they can't seem to wait to win a championship. He had 27 points and played the whole game. Sam Merrill is a man. If that was an MVP for that game, that was him. But now I have one play that has me saying wow, and that probably has you guys saying wow. Mike Trout, I'm not done with you, man. Look at this right here. Top golf. Where did it go? To space? The aliens called for it? I mean, where did it go? It's out of there. It's like he was playing baseball in a golf place, at a golf place, Top Golf. I mean, Mike Trout, you are amazing right there. Hitting the ball out of there. I don't think they got the ball back. I hope you bought a new one for him because that's out of there. But that is this week's Hubbard's Huddle. Don't go anywhere because Rachel, Ethan, Hunter, and I sit down to answer your burning questions for this week's Down in the DMs. Stay tuned.
Honorary Forest Ranger Betty White here, lending a hand to my dear friend Smokey Bear, because for 75 years, he's only said,
only you can prevent wildfires.
But there's a lot more to say. Like, if you park your car on tall, dry grass, the hot exhaust pipe can start a wildfire. So keep the animals safe, especially the cute shirtless one. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Alrighty, Rams. Our first question tonight comes from @Jason Ortiz, and he asks, Which Mountain West team will make a deeper run in the NCAA tournament? SDSU or USU?
Ellison, you want to start this one for us?
Yeah, let me start it off. I have it pulled up here. So San Diego State, I think, would make it farther in the tournament. They even though they lost to Utah State twice in that championship, they still show strides in good numbers per game, good rebounds per game, and they don't allow more points than they score. That's huge. So, yeah, there's other teams out there that are very competitive, but I think San Diego State can make it further than Utah State will.
Yeah, I think I might have to agree with that, too. I mean, like you said, they did lose to Utah State. That was a huge upset for them. But if you kind of look at where they're placed in the bracket right now, I mean, it's not finalized, obviously.
Yeah.
There's still a lot that goes into it. But right now they're going to be a number 2 seed if Baylor takes that number 1 seed. And by them taking that number 2 seed, I mean, either way, they're still going to be playing a 15 seed or a 16 seed. So I think they're going to get farther because Utah State's going to be 7 seed, or a 10 seed. They're going to be playing Michigan, who's a 7 seed. I just don't think Sam Merrill can carry an entire team throughout the NCAA tournament.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Well, guess who's gonna disagree? It's me. It is me. Utah State. I honestly think that Utah State is gonna go deeper in this tournament, and that's because from what I've seen, San Diego State has been trending downwards since their loss to UNLV, and Utah State has only played better the past 3 weeks. You have to look at how they end this season. I mean, San Diego State, since that loss to UNLV, they haven't won a game by more than 13 points, and they haven't played anybody ranked.
But
right?
look, Ethan, it's basketball, so it's going to be
it's March Madness.
It's a competition.
Exactly, it's March Madness. So that's why Utah State, I think they're gonna make a Cinderella run. I mean, they have a bit of a resume. They beat LSU, they beat South Florida, they beat Florida, and they only lost to BYU by 4. And not to mention, they beat the number 5 team in the nation, San Diego State, this week. Utah State has the talent and the caliber to go deeper than San Diego State.
Yeah, you talked about BYU, but San Diego State did beat BYU. They also beat Creighton, who's a great team. So I think that San Diego State's going to make it deeper. I don't think that Utah's going to make it as deep. The consistency of San Diego State, they've stayed in the top so long. I mean, it doesn't matter how many points you're winning by, you're winning games.
No, I mean, you can argue that wherever you want to. But you have to look at how they play those games. I mean, they were losing to CSU for how long?
Most of the games.
They were losing to Air Force going into halftime. They're just trending downwards. I'm sorry, this is what I see.
They could be trending downwards, and Utah State could be capitalizing on this high that they're on right now from this win. But I just don't see them getting past the first round. I don't think that they can take down Michigan. I just don't see it happening.
Sam Merrill's LeBron James is not happening. It's not.
He needs the whole team
you
behind him.
never say never in sports.
Especially March Madness.
Sometimes in sports things happen.
Okay.
Quote by Ethan Bird.
Our second question comes from Ryan P. Malone, and he asks, which NBA team will choke the hardest in the playoffs? Hunter, let's hear it.
I am going to say that the Bucks are going to be the team that choke the hardest. They are the top team. I know they're the top team, but they have the most to lose. So if they have a team in that East that upsets them, that is the biggest upset.
I would like to hear that team.
They're not going to choke, though. It's Giannis. But I do appreciate the sentiment. It's a good idea. Anyway, Rockets.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm with you right there.
Okay, well, we can just all yell
We've
at
just been hating on the Rockets all
come on. They're 6th in their conference. They're on a 4-game losing streak.
To the Knicks is one of them.
They lost to the Knicks. They lost to the Clippers. They lost to the Hornets and the Magic. Come on. I just don't know what's going on.
I know, but we're just saying, it's the Rockets. You got Harden and Westbrook.
Yeah, I don't know. They've been hitting awful threes. I mean, they had the worst 3-point percentage since 2017, and I'm pretty sure the last time that happened was from the Rockets too. I don't think that they can do anything in the playoffs.
They're going so much for this. We're a small ball team. We're a small ball team now. But when When your longest tenured center on your team is Tyson Chandler, I don't know how much I can roll with that, but I can roll with that more than I can roll with the Bucks losing.
Come on, Giannis is going to take this team.
I understand. I love Giannis. I think Giannis is amazing. I love him. I'm a huge fan of Giannis, but they have the most to lose. And
yeah, I get that.
In past years, you've seen Giannis not make it that far. So
yeah, but I think the only team at this point that they would be a challenge for them would probably be the Lakers, and that's not going to be until way later in the playoffs. So I don't see them
it would still be a choke
soon.
because everybody thinks that they're going to make it all the way. It would still be a choke if they lose to the
But
Lakers.
a choke would be if they lost to somebody on the East side.
You can't
like
count out
Boston.
the Raptors. You can't count out the Raptors.
No, look
No,
at
you
here.
can't
Like
count out
LeBron
the Raptors.
dominates
They
the
just
East
clinched
every
their
time he was
playoff
there.
spot, too.
It's Giannis's turn. Just like Kawhi did last year. It's who else is there? It's Giannis and the Bucks all over the East. Rachel, you going with the Rockets here?
Oh, absolutely. I think they're going to choke really hard.
I think that was pretty quick.
That was easy for me to pick on that one.
Closing comments.
I don't disagree with you guys either. So.
Well, Rams, that is all we have for this week. Thank you for sending in questions for Down in the DMs. And be sure to keep DMing us, and we might just pick your question to be on air.
To keep updated with more sports throughout the week, be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at sports_CTV. I'm Hunter Fillmore.
I'm Rachel Hallam.
I'm Ethan Bird.
And I'm Ellison Hubbard. Tune back in tomorrow night for more news from the people you know and to see Erica Johnson and Brendan Fairburn talking about which quarterback will have the longest NFL career.
They will also preview the CSU men's baseball team and their games against CU. You won't want to miss it. Until next week, have a great night, Rams.